So I want to go back to that opening reading that Nathan shared with us. I really love that because it reminds us just how important it is not to make judgments about different events in our life, about things are not always what they seem. And haven't we found that out a number of times in our life? Judgments prevent us from seeing the good that lies on the other side of those outward experiences, those outward appearances, those perceived obstacles. Sometimes we label things as good or bad, and in reality, it just simply is what it is. And I know we have all found that once we get on the other side of whatever it is, a couple things show up for us. We think to ourselves, why did I worry? It all worked out in the end. And by the way, think about the different blessings that we've missed on the way, right? Because we close our eyes to that. If we truly believe that God is good and the universe is working for our highest and our best, it's just beyond me why we as human beings don't trust life. Just because it doesn't look at the present moment like we think it ought to, like we've decided it should. Here's a stunner. Our world is really out of balance right now. Right? I know that's an understatement. I get that. Things are shifting, moving, changing, and it feels constant, doesn't it? And there's really no way to tell at this particular moment how things are going to end up. There's just no way for us to know, which is why we're called to trust. So we have a choice. We can worry. We can stress. That's entirely up to us individually. Or we can trust that the universe has our back. We can trust that the universe wants for us the highest and the best. And we can do whatever it is that's in our power to do. So what I know about disasters, whether they're natural or man-made, and right now we have both, let's just face it. But what I know is when these disasters occur, that we come together as that one single humanity, that we do have each other's back. And I don't mean just in this room, and I mean in our community, right? In our state, in our nation, and the world. Hope, generosity, compassion, those things all show up through an humanitarian response of people supporting each other. And I find it really interesting. We don't really notice that a lot until a major event occurs. One like we have in Texas right now, it just breaks my heart. Because as human beings, we have a tendency to be wrapped up in our own life, right? Ignore the needs or wants of other human beings because they're not maybe in our immediate area. And then somehow when those disasters happen, something clicks within human beings and our humanity surfaces. And we as a nation, as a planet, practice that compassion, practice that generosity much more readily than we tend to do on a daily, ordinary basis. How often, and this is for me, do I think about the homeless population in Texas? I don't. Not until there's a disaster. And then my heart's breaking, right? Because they're on the street through these hurricanes, through this terrible storm. I kind of wonder if that's maybe why some of these disasters take place, as a reminder to us, as a reminder that we're all one, as a reminder to reach out to our fellow human beings so we can remember and recognize our oneness. It's a great reminder these times for us to work towards staying in that state of knowingness, that oneness, recognizing, understanding what it is that's ours to do. How can we be of service? Sharing our heart, our essence, gives us the assurance that on a personal level, we are doing everything that we can do. We are not expected to be perfect. We are, however, expected to put forth our best effort. And that is what we're called to do. There is, right now, and probably always has been, a tremendous amount of suffering in the world. And I say probably always has been because I think we're much more aware of it now, because you look at your phone and you've got, how many news sources pop up, right? Or you turn on the TV or the radio or whatever. So we're much more aware of it now. And I'll tell you what I've seen and what I believe is that the key to moving through these experiences, attitude. There's a shock, right? How we move through these things and how we deal with them is all about attitude. Now, some people, not you, will move through these experiences with anger, with frustration, with hurt, to such an extent that they may not get beyond a particular event. They may find themselves stuck at that place in time, defining their life, using that moment as a defining factor. In a sense, it's like life stops there, right? Because it's tough to get through that. On the other hand, you will see people who go through these incredible disasters, right, that they're going through right now, and their attitude is a positive one. Thank God I have my life. Thank God I saved my animal or my child or my husband or my grandmother, whatever it is. They will be grateful for what did come out of it. And they have a great appreciation for their life because they believe there is an ultimate good. And they'll look at that and they'll say, how can I grow from this? How can I learn from this? What can I appreciate more in my life? It takes an incredible amount of trust to move through those challenging times with that kind of attitude. And I don't know if I would do that or not. I would sure like to believe I would. And the inspiration for other people, to me, is the grandest gift in that. Because that is inspiring when somebody is that grateful when they go through a difficult, challenging event. So the contrast between those two attitudes is incredibly huge. I mean, that's very obvious. Trusting life is so much more uplifting. It gives us the ability to remain joyful and hopeful and have the strength to go on and to persevere. We can apply that anywhere in our life. There is absolutely nothing going on in our world and on our planet that can't be changed, that can't be taken care of. And here's the truth. We live, and we know this, in an ever-evolving universe. There's constant change. And there has been since you put your foot on this planet. Now, it may take time to shift things back to where we want them to be or we think they should be. It isn't hopeless. And I hear a lot of hopeless talk. And that hurts my heart. Because I know that we can move through this. And I know we can move through this together. I see our lives as a hologram. Each one of us is part of that whole. And no matter how many pieces you take from that big whole, in each of you being a piece, each of us, each piece still contains the whole. Information about that whole. One is always affecting another, no matter on how small a scale. Now, the implication of that is incredibly enormous. Everything you do, everything you think, every action you take has a profound effect on what's happening, even though you don't realize it. You may realize it. Any anger, any complaining that we feel or do adds to the chaos of what's going on out there. Now, albeit on a small scale, however, what I want you to think about that is this. If every person you know is angry or complaining and putting that energy out into the universe, wow, can we expect nothing but chaos at that point? And you can see the implications of that. What affects one affects all. And it's the same concept, this hologram is the same concept as Indra's net that we talk about, right? If you're affected, anybody connected to you is affected, and everybody's connected to you. The greatest gift that we hold is to live a life of love, generosity, compassion, not just for ourselves, for everybody, for all of humanity, and to do that with grace. And grace can be defined as the voice of wisdom, intuition, divine energy, however you want to see that, or guidance. We sense the existence of something above and apart from us, from our physical reality that we live in, and we call that the greater reality, that which animates our very being, that which connects you and I. And grace in expression is the generosity of spirit, infinite love, compassion, and goodwill toward all humankind. I won't expand on that, but I know you know what I mean. All humankind. It's about being in harmony, experiencing the meaning of life, the satisfaction and the fulfillment that we're living the life that we were meant to live while we are here on this beautiful planet. And in doing that, we are honoring our soul's desire by living a life of authenticity, by living a life of integrity. And we know when we're living in grace, because we express gratitude for what is, no matter how it appears at that particular moment, because we know that all is in divine order. We'll know because we'll be eager to bring our everyday actions into alignment with that, with what's important to us at that higher level. It fosters our well-being. It helps us be resilient during these challenging times of change and chaos. These complex changes that we're experiencing right now on this planet. Whether they're storms in our life, in our nation, or on our planet. It's all the same. When we're in harmony with life, we'll see promise. We'll see possibility. We'll know that all is well. We won't have that fear or that anger. And the key to experiencing grace, cultivating gratitude. And we've talked about that a lot over the years. Because through gratitude, we inevitably place ourselves on the path of awareness. Gratitude has very little to do with our physical surroundings or what's happening in our immediate life. It has everything to do with being spiritually flexible, understanding that greater reality, understanding that bigger picture, accepting life as it is, and being okay with that instead of hoping, expecting, and demanding something different. So often we spend our lives searching for God, for the oneness, for the sacred, so we can connect, so we can give meaning to life, to make meaning for our life. So can feel that measure of comfort, of security, in a world that is filled right now with the opposite. We look outside of ourselves, and here's the truth. It is and always has been right here within us. We don't have to search for it. We already have it. We already are it. And once we fully understand and fully connect with that, we have a greater understanding of who we are and what we're called to do. Utilize that, your internal source of guidance, of divine energy. Allow it to open you up to new possibilities, to new perspectives. Allow your thoughts and your actions to reflect your true nature, your true God-given divine nature, instead of reacting to the not-so-good news online or on TV. Listen to that voice of wisdom, of reason that is within you. When you do that, you will begin to feel that sense of, all is well. All is in divine order. And your body relaxes, and your mind relaxes. And if you're guided at that point to take some kind of action, do it. Do it. Don't hesitate. Because you'll be active from a place of love, instead of a place from frustration or anger or all of those other things. Do it from a place of love. Be willing to bring that love and that compassion wherever you go, to everybody you meet. Share it. Give it away freely. The only way that we can ever claim mastery of this is by demonstrating that love and that compassion in our everyday life. It won't happen through an intellectual knowledge or through willpower alone. Take time for reflection and renewal, and use that as a way to open yourself up to that God source within, as that greater reality, as that divine energy. We are created to know the greater unity of God. We're not here to amass fortunes or to win wars or competitions. We're not here to earn rewards or make a name for ourselves. We are here to know God, to experience life in our own unique way. And you are a necessary extension of life's greater reality, that which is part of that holographic universe. Through our hearts, we can come to understand life as a field of sacredness, and as it naturally occurs, it becomes that force of love. And out of that vibration of love that naturally happens, comes the consciousness to live our truth, to share the essence of who we are at the level of our soul, and to bring that divine energy into our human experience. And at that level of awareness, we're invited to make love the primary motivating force behind everything we do. And isn't that what we want? Isn't that what we expect from people out there? As we embrace love individually and collectively, we as human beings will begin to consciously co-create new ways of living and new ways of loving. So whether we face actual or metaphorical storms in our lives, grace and trust is the greater reality. As the greater reality is how we will move through that with dignity, with honor, and with grace. So open yourself up to that greater reality, that divine essence. Create beauty and joy from your heart. Embrace love. Remember your own intrinsic connection to love, and use that wisdom, that heart space, to contemplate and take action. And here's my thought for the day. May we collectively give birth to more harmony and peace in our lives, in our nation, and for our Mother Earth. And thank you for being here while I shared this truth as I understand it.